So we are now ready to go ahead and add and place artifacts. We're on step 3 of designing our exhibition space. So I have a first video that talks about defining and designing your space. Now, again, we're working on those artifacts. So as I pan in, I'm going to go ahead and start to think about what I want to include. You can see on the left-hand screen, images that I've previously uploaded have appeared. And there's a panel that says artifacts. I have images, videos, 3D objects, and text. Now, I can tell you right off the bat, I'm going to want a wall that talks about Yaoi Kusama, a title wall. So I'm going to click on Add Text. And now I have this beautiful text and title. I'm going to say the title of this exhibition is Yaoi Kusama, a retrospective. And this is where I would include information about Kusama. So at this point, I've written some text in. You can see that this is where you're talking a little bit about the exhibit and the artist. So I say, Yaoi Kusama is a force in the global contemporary art scene. Originally from Japan, Kusama explores many genres of contemporary art, including pop art and surrealism. Major themes in her artwork include sexuality, identity, and unpacking the success of a typical historical artist archetype. The gallery highlights 2D and 3D artworks. And I can go back and edit as I need to. Now you can see I can align the text how I'd like to. I can align it left, right, or center. I'm going to go ahead and align it in the center. Artifact tags I can categorize. Like if I get to a point where I have a lot of information that I need to organize, this is where it would become helpful. So I'm going to hit save. It's going to load. And now I have this text. And you'll see as I go further in, you'll notice when I import that text onto this wall, it shows up in a way that is very difficult to read. So I'm going to edit it. I'm going to go ahead and click on that edit button. And I am going to go ahead and hit enter. And I can go ahead and change the color of this text here. So let's go ahead and hit save and see what it looks like now. Now, this looks a little less scary, right? Hopefully. If I hit this text over on the left that has these little triangles, I should be able to find that arrow and move this up on the wall and to the left of the wall. So I am going to make it so that if I was looking at this, I can go ahead and read this. Now I know I want another title. So I'm going to go ahead and add text, and it does. So I'm still in the tool, and if you'll see, if you click it, it's going to let you move it, or it'll want to move it around. I'm in the move tool. Again, if I want to make this bigger, I have to hit the scale tool. And I want her name to be the biggest thing here. So I'm going to make that a lot larger than the rest of the text. And then I'm going to move it up so that it again, and we're going to try and center it on that wall roughly. So now I have my gallery title wall. You can see if I want to rotate, I certainly can do that. But I want people to see the very first thing when they enter is her name. Now, again, if I want to, I could come in and I could play around with, I could align it on the left, hit save, you know, and decide, okay, let's go ahead and see what that looks like. But again, for now, I'm just going to go, okay. So now I have a title wall and I'm pretty happy with that. You know, again, I could choose to put a piece of artwork here, so it's the first thing viewers see when they come in. But for now, we're just going to leave this being her. So I could go ahead and give, I could place this title wall anywhere. It doesn't have to be in the exact middle screen. But for now, I'm going to play around with this and I'm just going to leave this here. So I have my text wall. It has the title of the artist and it has a little bit about that artist. How much you choose to include is up to you. The next thing, and it's kind of trippy to look at the text itself. This brings awareness to me that I might need to go ahead and pan it. So let's move it backwards in space. So it is actually like on the wall. Do you see that? It's a good thing to make sure that your text is not floating off the wall. A good thing to be aware of. So that's what I always like to do. I'm going back to my selection tool. I'm zooming out a little bit. Sorry for this, the clunkiness here. And now I'm going to go ahead and start uploading some artwork. So I already have an image, but I'm going to go ahead and refresh that image database and add another one. So it's going to let me upload a file. I have to go ahead and look online, find images, make sure they're high quality. I have already downloaded a couple, and you can see it'll let you go through many different objects, and it'll say drag and drop a file or click here. So if I go to this folder, which I know I have displayed it, I have this piece and it's going to show me it in preview. It has a canvas. I will need a title for the piece. It will let me put a description, height, width, etc. So this is the fun part. I need to make sure that I am giving, I need to make sure that I'm giving the correct information. So I believe I got this image here. You can see it's loading here. So I'm going to take this title, which is a pumpkin in parentheses by, and it was done in 2004. So I'm going to copy and paste this information, put that in the title. I'm going to put a comma and write 2004 because that was on that page. I'm going to move this over here. It's a screen print in colors with lame on wove paper. So we're going to say that's the description. The dimensions. So it is 15 1/10 of an inch. Right now it's in the metric system. If I want it to be in inches, I just have to toggle this. And whatever reason, it has converted it. So 15 15.1. And then by 17 9/10. So we're going to say it's by 17.9. If I want to, again, tag it, I can. But, again, I can do this. Now, again, make sure you're crediting this information. So we have gotten this information from artsy.net. So make sure you're citing your sources. I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste the URL in here and see what it looks like. We'll see. I'm going to hit save. Now I have another artifact. And I'm going to do this one more time before I start to place them. I like to have my images. You'll see it's loading. It's wanting to save things. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting some two-dimensional artwork on the wall. So I'm going to grab my image, which is this pumpkin. And you can see it's spinning. Now I have this little thumbnail that's floating around and I get to decide where this first image is going to go. I'm going to start by placing one of the images on this wall over here. Now I can put it in a frame if I want. So maybe I'll select a nice gold frame. And again, you can see the scale button. So this is something to keep in mind. I'm not gonna, okay, so this originally is only a 15-inch piece, right? So if I make this entire height of a wall, let's work off the basis that these are roughly 8 feet tall. This is not going to be accurate in the least. So I'm guesstimating a little bit here, but I can see it's going to be pretty small. So I'll leave this here. Now I have this beautiful piece. If I turn around, I can see that it doesn't look, the positioning on the wall doesn't work. So I go back to the move button and I'm going to move it in that center of the wall for the moment. So now I have placed my first painting. I'm going to go ahead and start thinking about the rest of the space. A couple quick things. Don't overcrowd your gallery space. If it's a really big picture, it might need its own wall. This looks really tiny and isolated, so I can tell I need to put something here. Consider the viewpoints too that your viewer is going to walk through. If this is my first impact of this show and I have this tiny little image over here, I know I just moved it, but I'm actually going to put it closer to the corner and have a bigger statement piece to the left of this. Now this is one of her pumpkins. I try to organize walls thematically. I don't want everything to be the same. So it's like many things in art where you're trying to find a balance between what looks good together without being too samey. So I'm going to take a different pumpkin piece over here on the left, and I'm going to go ahead, click on it. So I'm going to throw it on the wall here. I'm going to get a little bit closer. I'm actually going to change to first person camera at this point. Oh, look how much easier it is to navigate. I'm going to get a little bit closer too. Okay, so now I see this really tiny piece. I know automatically I have to scale it because I know offhand this piece is bigger than the piece next to it. So let's make this even bigger. And it has, you're like, why does it have these black like kind of squares around it? And that's because when I downloaded this image, it had space. It had a background next to it. So if this happens to you, you can edit that out. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave that here for the moment. Again, if I want a picture frame, I can scroll through, and I like this one. This is a nice simple frame. So now I have two pieces that look relatively good, I think. Just really quickly, I'm going to switch cameras just to see what they look like on the wall over here. And you can see how much space is left here. So I'm just going to really quickly, again, move this piece over. And then I'm going to move this piece over, just to give them a little bit of breathing space and make that wall look a little bit more fleshed out. Perfect. So when visitors come in the room, the first thing they're going to see is a pretty nice image, and then they have a smaller pumpkin image. Again, I can also consider adding text to walls, but the goal isn't going to have at least 10 artifacts. It can be more. So at this moment in time, I'm taking 3D images, and you can see I've loaded one up here. I've made it into a photograph. I've downloaded a picture, and we are just going to get the main idea that installation room would be here. So for the sake of this, we're going to make one of these gallery spaces a giant installation. So I'll take this again, click on it, and the idea is that I want to scale it. I want to make it bigger. I'm not going to put a frame on it this time. If you want, this is where I can switch to first person view. It might be a little bit easier to see. Let's go in here. Nope, nope. There we go. So now I'm going to go back. You know what? you can see that it's on a canvas at the moment. If I don't like that, I'll show you what I can do in a minute. And actually, you know, again, I want to keep this image nice and neat for myself. I don't want to blow this up on the same size of the room. And you can see I got back to pan. So I'm going to undo what I just did. You can see it's taller than the ceiling. And so what I'm going to do, so you get the idea that this whole room is installation, I'm going to repeat this image around the room. So bear with me while I do that. I'm going to go ahead, and the rest of this video is going to be me showing you that installation room. And then I'm going to show you, take myself off camera and show you just about half of this final image here. So let's orbit. So I am going to go ahead. You see, I can duplicate